It's Soleil, and this is episode 65 of the Orange Pill Investor. And I'm going to give a Friday update. I actually rolled Mara early because it is taking a dump, and which kind of illustrates the point of this strategy. So, bought Mara at $23. Bitcoin was at all time highs, and maybe the timing wasn't good, but when you're on zero, you have to get off zero. So when you're going to start investing, you got to buy something. So, I mean, you could wait around for a dip, but dips are not promised. So we're looking at Marathon, and if we started trading on in January, and you're like, oh, okay, it's 16 and it's dropped from 25 to 16, I'll wait for a dip. Would you have jumped on this 15, or would you have been like, oh, I'll wait till it gets to 12, and then you're just sitting with cash forever because it never hits 12? So you just got to get in somewhere. And the point of the strategy is to sell covered calls against your shares and reduce your cost basis. So the first week I reduced cost basis by like $1.80, split that in half because that was two contracts, so like 90 cents each. So average cost really here is like 22.20. And then I rolled these calls yesterday. I rolled a 22 and a 22 and a half. Got paid $40 here, probably close to 40 or 35 here. So another 37. So I need to put this in a spreadsheet, and maybe I'll just post that in the chat as well, or in the replies. But the average cost of these shares is steadily going down. So maybe my average cost is like 21.90 or 21.80 or something like that. So I have lost $100 less than somebody who just bought. So if you bought at 23, then you lost the entire $500, whereas I only lost like $350. So the point of this is to reduce your cost basis, and this is limited upside. So you're not going to gain as much when it goes up, but you're also not going to lose as much when it goes down. It would be nice if you could just optimally gain the most and lose the least. But if you structure these correctly, there is still a chance to do that as well, because my covered calls, I would technically not, in air quotes, lose money unless the price of Mara shoots up past 22 or 22 and a half for next week. So that allows for like 20% call away value. So Mara would really have to go up more than 20% for this covered call to even limit any of my upside. I wanted to be a little greedier with this, but sometimes the price of stock, especially Bitcoin, can whipsaw you back and forth. And then, if I had sold a call down here for like 20 or 21, and then the price just goes up 10%, now I've already breached my strike. So I've tried not to be a little greedy with it, but still, even not being greedy with this. So average credit on this one was 40 cents. And I think the price yesterday was probably closer to 19. But anyway, that's leaving a ton of call away value. But even the value of the stock, if it was $20, that's still 2% return for the week. You get 2% every week for 50 weeks. That's 100%. I don't know anybody else who's getting 100% returns. Some of the investor types will like to say that people who sell covered calls are picking up pennies in front of a steamroller, but it's a hell of a lot of pennies. So I don't know what buy and hold strategy routinely gets 50% ROI for the year, but If you're just collecting 1% a week, you're going to get 52% for the year. So collecting 2% a week is going to give 100% return for the year. Now there's some friction in there. When you roll this, you have to buy back the call for $1, and there's a bid-ask spread. So there's I don't know if this technically qualifies as high frequency trading like day traders do. I'm just trading, every Friday, or I rolled a little day early yesterday. But this is very low time constraints. This takes like half an hour to do this in total. And it just seems like easy mode to me. And for people who don't know how to time the market, like, are you going to be, sorry, that's the call. Are you going to be a genius and you're going to know this is the top, and this is the top, and this is another top and a double top? And, okay, are you going to know to buy this dip at 20 or this dip at 16? But selling covered calls mechanically sets your, I will sell high at 22. It's worth, 40 cents to me times 100. Options are always multiples of 100. But it's worth a 2% return to me, and I can still sell if this pops up to 22. I can still sell high at 22. It's at 18. So if it goes up 20%, I'm willing to sell. And I'm front loading this decision, so there's no emotions tied to it. It's just a mechanical, emotionless way to trade. And I think a lot of people go broke because they just can't handle the emotions of seeing things pump, what was that, third up to 4x. So from November to December at 4x, but is it going to 10x? You don't know. So if it goes up 20% by next week, great. If not, I still got my 2%. All right, so let's keep it going. I got HUT expiring today, 2 of them. So let's buy to close. We're going to pay $1 each. Give those a second to fill. Oh, the bid ask is 1 to 2 cents. That's annoying. I don't want to pay 2. The HUT does not have the same liquidity as like a Mara or a Riot. So you can get kind of like nickeled and dimed for these pennies. Oh, I only did one. You could wait till later in the day. This would drop to a penny at some point, but I'm not going to extend this video by hours just trying to get this done. So let's check all options. Sell. And I don't even remember what my purchase price was. It's 7 something or 8. I just don't even care. Some people are terrified to try a strike below their cost basis, but the 7.5 right here, 1% of that would be 7. So 4 times 7.5 is about 30. So this is about 4% return for next week, and gives from 706 to 750, so 46 cents in call away value. So another 5% in call away. Let's do that. See what's the bid ask going to be. We'll see if 32 fills. Just sit on that for a second. Let the robots decide what they want to do with it. There's only, so here's my 2 asks. I'm asking 32, and there's a half dozen people saying no, I want 31. Volume and open interest isn't terrible, but in the interest of time, let's just smash the bid and go to 31. If you have a small account like this and you really just want to try to squeeze every last little penny, please do that. So we just got paid another $60, so let's buy as much hut as we can with the $60. 7 times 9 to 63. So let's get 9 shares. And if you want to make sure you don't overpay, I mean, I'm going out. Robinhood's always done me pretty well, and the liquidity is not terrible on this. But if you're just purchasing market, you can screw yourself because they will. I forget exactly, but there's a warning about how much. It looks like the price is this, but I might end up paying $7.15 or $7.20, but on something that's not very liquid, I mean, you could end up getting screwed to this. So it's probably best to do limit orders. I think I was watching a video one time of Tasty Trade video, and they were like, "Have you ever used a bot? Just a market order?" And I'm like, "No." So it's just standard operating procedure for people who are sophisticated traders. And but time is also of value, and sometimes I just want to get it over with. So not an auspicious start, down 20%. Can't be up 10% for the week. Started with 5,000. Yeah. So Robinhood's calculations are wacky sometimes too. So let's just look at this, and that's including all my gains. So I took a bunch of money out of this account so I could get it down to $5,000. Yeah, we started at 5 and it's 40. So 20%. Down 20% for the week. Now the hard part about when something goes down 20%, it actually has to go up 25% in order to get back to 5,000. So your losses are much more, in a percentage fashion, are harder to recover from. It takes way more gains as a percent to recover from a loss. So it will be interesting to see how long it takes to claw back from this, especially if Bitcoin continues to take a dump. There's a nice little dip here, a little buying opportunity. So not to be unexpected. So my average cost is now down to $7.51. I don't know what it was before that, but you can see I would basically break even if I end up having to sell these covered call, sell these shares at $7.50. But of course I got paid, what was it, 30 cents per contract, and I just paid 30 more cents. So really my cost basis is down to like $6.90. So even if I am forced to sell these for $7.50, I'm getting a 60-cent profit per share because my true cost basis is really closer to $6.90, which again is the point of the strategy. So most people blow up their accounts within like 90 days of trading. But if you just buy something and then sell covered calls against it to reduce your cost basis, it's like getting a discount that you paid for the stock every week. And everybody loves discounts. All right, that's it for now. Maybe in the future I'll start trading, talking more about the larger account, trade some MicroStrategy over there. I never thought I would see more hype on X than for Bitcoin. but the MicroStrategy hype is going crazy lately. So also sell covered calls on MicroStrategy. Mara, I saw Matthew Cratter from Bitcoin University had reposted some criticism of Mara, so I wonder if that's hurting their stock right now. Maybe they were being they were using something to their advantage where they were not reporting their fees or something, and it wasn't giving a clear market signal to the other miners reporting their fees, so they were maybe making some kind of advantage. I got to do a little bit more research on that to see if it's something legitimate that really should be held against Mara, or if it's basically just, I mean, they're doing it, so if it's not illegal and it's playing by the rules, it's just giving them some advantage and other people are pissed off about it. You know, if that's the case, then that's kind of an issue of scrub mentality. So there's a guy who's a competitive gamer, and it's many, many years ago, but he put out an article around scrub mentality, and basically it boils down to scrubs will make excuses for why they suck, and they will, it's almost kind of like unwritten rules in sports, or, you know, like in baseball, you can't showboat when you hit a home run, or you know, then they'll hit you with a fucking pitch after that or something. But people impose limitations on themselves that don't need to be there. Some people, like was a Street Fighter, I think he said, you know, some people say that uh, blocking or throwing, when someone blocks, throwing them is a cheap move because people just rely so heavily on blocking, and they think that should just be an I win move or something. And then someone who gets good at throwing will just throw them constantly and maybe get an easy win. But you should be able to defend against that. So I don't know if this is a scrub mentality thing and people are pissed off because Mara is just found an advantage that others should be taking advantage of, and people are just pissed off about it, or if it's legit an unethical kind of maneuver that they've taken. But it did make me wonder if that's why Mara is taking a bigger dump. So, best case scenario, your stocks go up and up forever. Number go up. But again, it's a reminder why the down plan is the same as the up plan. Limit the upside, sell covered calls, take a guaranteed routine, put the premium in your pocket, reinvest that premium into extra shares. So, and then that's another good point. So if someone had gone into the market the same day I did, they bought 200 shares of Mara, they bought 200 shares of Hut, and just held. They spent all their money. They had no extra buying power. When these dip, they have no money. They would have to deposit extra money into their account from somewhere to be able to afford buying these shares. However, since I sold covered calls in Mara and got paid like $50, $100, I can't remember what it was, and then sold covered calls on Hut today, got paid another $60, that allowed me to go in and get extra shares of Hut. So two people buy stocks on the same day. One person sells a covered call against it, gets some extra money put into their account, and buys extra shares, compared to someone who just holds, and instead of having 236 shares of Hut, like I do in this account, they only have 200 shares of Hut. So 36 shares of Hut times 7, so $200. So their account would be at 38.74. 38, would be $200 less than this. But because I got paid premium and I bought shares with those, I have more shares. And that's why I don't really look at this number as much. So the account value, I mean, obviously in the long run, from a long-term perspective, you want that to always be up and up and up forever. But with this strategy, I'm constantly accumulating shares. So I look at my account more on how many shares do I have and how many shares have I accumulated. Because when HUT does bounce back to 8, if you only had 200 shares, you have $1,600. But if mine goes to 8, I've got the 1,600 plus 36 times 8. That 240 plus 288, something like that. So for me, I look at the number of shares as the important part because the price is going to do whatever the price does. And I don't do technical analysis, and I don't try to guess what other people are thinking. So that was I think that's enough for now. And have a good one. Be good, y'all.